Hey, you guys, welcome in. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Brianna. I do godly content. Please hit that like button as you come in so we can get this godly content pushed out in this YouTube algorithm. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Children are being created in broken homes from lost parents and not being taught the reasons for God's ways. These kids are out here ignorant and running wild because they have access to way too much and they lack understanding of their experimental desires. They think that they want to be grown because they are constantly being groomed by the tricks of the devil to act more mature to be accepted. The devil is intentionally exposing children and young adults to graphic behavior by celebrities on social sites and through the systematic setup of society norms. Me personally, I came across adult films at a young age by accident, and it caused me to battle lust for a lot of years without even knowing it. Also, when I was younger, my mom had a problem with trying to get me to cover up. I was more on the thicker side at a young age, so I had to cover up at a young age. And on top of that, I was dealing with lust, so I would wear a lot of exposing clothes. And when she would tell me to cover up and wear more covering up things, I can't help but remember like my thoughts back then. Like I would think like, well, Rihanna and Beyonce are wearing this on stage, so what's the big problem about it? So since God loves kids, He loves children, the devil, he hates kids, so he's trying to do anything he can do to get rid of kids. And another way he's doing that is by manipulating kids to grow up too fast. And sadly, this is working on a lot of children. These bad teachings or these tricks of the devil are also happening in a lot of family homes, so you cannot just allow your kids to go to just anyone's house. I remember when I was around the age of 7 years old, it was around the same time that I had this dream. I lived in these townhomes with my family. And while I was living in these townhomes, I remember these fraternal twins that lived in this certain section that we seen all the time. And so I just remember these fraternal twins doing a lot of bragging about trying out sexual acts on each other. And you guys, we were around the same age, like elementary ages. And this was something that they were bragging about, something that they were participating in with each other as fraternal twins. It is very, very important that children are not exposed to certain things at a young age because their minds are still developing, and certain things that are just too graphic, too vulgar, and meant for adults are not going to hit their mind in the correct way because their mind is not developed enough to create the proper thinking process from that information and create the proper response to that information. Yet, children are being spoon fed this inappropriate, vulgar, graphic information that some of this stuff adults shouldn't even be seeing. Like corn and things like adults shouldn't even be seeing that type of stuff. And so many children have access to it, and so they're being able to be exposed to it, and it causes them to create the incorrect responses to it by getting natural desires because they lack understanding and acting on those desires, and then going taking a step further and peer pressuring other people around them because they don't want to feel like the only person trying out this stuff. And it's so crazy how influential and strong and how regular peer pressure is within these kids, and it starts as young as elementary school. I had a childhood friend like this. I talked about her in this video, and it's crazy because she peer pressured me into a lot unintentionally by just doing things and me seeing it, and intentionally by trying to force me to do certain things. Like, yeah, y'all, go watch that video if you want to see me go into detail about that. But yeah, that girl was very demonic, and she had a lot going on within her family, like no father, controlling mother, and there was definitely something strange going on between her mother, and her grandfather. But yeah, it was like one of those old school things where nobody talked about this extreme tension that they had with their grandfather. You could definitely tell there was something wrong that he did to them, but nobody was talking about it. And yet the grandmother was still married to him, and they still went over there to see her a lot. But like every time he would come in the room, it would be very awkward, and you could tell they just really like had something against him. Like he really just did something really bad to them. I honestly think that it was something sexually that he did to them because it's just the way that it was set up. And it's sad too, the fact that they thought it was okay to bring me over there with them. and put me in that situation. And also the fact that my mom never knew about it, never knew that it went over there, never knew about the odd situation as well. I now realize how dangerous this girl was to my innocence and how much she tried to force me into the most demonic of things, and how she just got more and more demonic with every year and really was taking her anger for her life out on me. And it's just crazy that I didn't even see it till I became an adult and got understanding. Homeschooling is becoming more and more important every year. Not only are these kids weird, but also they're putting Satan worship in these schools, and they're also putting gay pride advertisement everywhere. They're flooding these schools with gay pride advertisement. I even know, like, at my colleges, like, come across a lot of it just all over the halls, a lot of groups trying to come together, a lot of flyers for them. And it's just crazy because, like, I know a lot of people don't agree with it, but the more that it's advertised and the more that it's being put out there, like, we support this and we're creating groups for this, the more that people are not going to stand up against it. I had an English teacher in college that failed me because I didn't like the topics that she was making us read and making us write about. She was forcing them topics on us. I remember she had one story that she forced us to read and do a discussion on, and write an essay on, about how a man was getting pregnant in space, and then another one about how men are getting HIV because they're having to hide their sexual identity. So the black community needs to accept it more. So we ended up having to write an essay on that, and I expressed my true feelings about it, and also how she made me uncomfortable with that. She also had us participate in some survey of her class, and I wrote how I felt about that too, how her topics made me really uncomfortable. And so this lady failed me. So yeah, I don't put nothing past these schools, y'all. These schools are becoming more and more weirdo behavior. Also, you guys, I know that there's kids out there, or kids in general, they make up fairy tales and stories, and sometimes they be out here lying. But believe your kids, pay attention to your kids, use discernment on your kids, and pray over your kids, you guys, because there's a lot of demons that are preying on your kids that can be stopped if you just listen to them and watch over them. Also, watch over these little friends that they bring around, these people that they spend a lot of time around. Watch over them with godly eyes or with discernment, and determine whether you're going to allow your kids to be friends with them. Even if your kids get upset with you and, you know, get mad at you because they lack understanding of, potential evil intentions of their friends, you can save them a lot of heartache. You can save them from a lot of demons if you put that stuff to a stop. Not allowing them to be friends with certain people, not allowing them to do certain things, and praying over them. Because I didn't get a lot of that growing up. I was exposed to a lot, and I was allowed to be around people that I shouldn't have been around. And my parents didn't even know a lot about the stuff that I was doing or going through. So watch over your kids, you guys. Watch over them kids, because a lot of these kids, even though they're kids, they can be children of Satan. If you just so have to put your kids in public schools, watch them teachers, you guys. I've had racist teachers, I've had pervertive teachers, and I've also had bully teachers. Just because they're in a position to be a teacher does not mean that they cannot be demonic, or does not mean that they cannot be out here with weirdo behavior, cuckoo for cocoa puffs, want to attack children. I now understand, now since I have understanding, I understand that God allowed a lot of people to attack me in my younger ages, because it gave me a lot of wisdom when I became older and when I woke up to my purpose. And also, like, it was like basically spiritual warfare to make me spiritual grow and be able to see a lot. Like, when it comes to my kids, I'll be able to see a lot over their situations and be able to quickly determine things based off what I've been through. But make sure you're also doing that, and don't let these teachers slide just because they have a degree to be a teacher. But yeah, y'all, that's all I have to say in this video. I like this video. I like this topic, and I like the way that God brought it to me. Very, very in my field, something I've been through, easy to talk about. And I went over the script a few times, that's why it took so long for me to push it out to you guys. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed making it. But if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching this video. And go ahead and hit that like button. If you made it to the end, hit that like button so we can get this godly content pushed out in this YouTube algorithm. And yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.